when Biggles and Algy got into a tight scrape, well, they knew how to behave. Okay, they may have lost their tempers with the dirty Hun every now and then, but above all, they were, well, British. I mean, the thing which I can remember, which illustrates this best, was when Biggles and Ginger and Algy had landed the seaplane into the ocean, I think it was the Indian Ocean, because they'd seen a small figure floating there out of the window into the sea, and they're nearer the life raft by this time, nearer to giving succour and help to this poor, helpless person. And Ginger gets close, and he suddenly says, "But Biggles, it's a chink." And Biggles, well, being a man, being a hero, sort of turns round and said, "Doesn't matter, Ginger, we must help him anyhow." And it was that when I realised really that's what heroes were for, that they were to show you the way to behave. Victor Bergen, Paul Goodman, Gunnar Grass, Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Hermann Goering, Robert Ornstein, J.P. Sartre, James Turber, Francis Bacon, David Bowie, George Louis Borges, V.I. Lenin, John Russell, Anthony Burgess, Roy Fuller, Max Ernst, Wilhelm Reich, Hugh Trevor Roper, Thomas Mann, Paul Pott, Kurt Schwitters, Robert Morris, Roy Lichtenstein, Alex Chilton, Alan Vega, T.S. Eliot, Philip K. Dick, Marshall Zucher. This time that I discovered alcohol. Now, alcohol was marvellous. I've forgotten how old I was. But I knew it was something which men did. I mean, in all the films you saw Sean Connery with his dry martini. Hey, shall we slip out of these wet clothes and into a dry martini? Well, I had to drink cider because it was the only thing I could get from the co-op. And my friends and I used to go down to the banks of the River Lee. And we'd get absolutely blind drunk, but we knew that this was the way which one was meant to be behaving, as it had a certain macho, whatever I wanted to do with the drink. It didn't quite match up to my expectations. I was a precocious young kid, and I'd heard of Dylan Thomas. I hadn't read any of his poetry, but I knew that he used to drink a lot, and I also knew that he was well known. So I thought, if you drink a lot, you must become well known. I did find it difficult actually doing any work, I mean, even homework or putting out the cat. Levi Strauss, Andy Peebles, Bertrand Russell, Steve Ovett, Charlie Parker, George Brown, Howard Devoto, Kenny Dalglish, Tony Benn, Cliff Richard, Louis MacNeice, Jim Parker, Jeffrey Howell, Bela Lugosi, Fred Astaire, Stravinsky, Raymond Chandler, Mengele, Fidel Castro, Paul Newman, Scott Mosley, Daphne Campsey, Gerald Ford, John Carpenter, Robert Oppenheimer, Dominic Steele, Ken Dodd, Frank Auerbach, Albert Dizzy Gillespie, Graham Greene, Richard Long,